I don't know which order we should do it in. Whether I should listen to your original one first.
Well, let's listen to what you did, I think, first.
Okay. Hello, everyone. This is part 5 of 5 in a series I've done called Reverse Songwriting. My friend Neil Luckett gave me some vocals, and I've been writing a song around those, deciding on the chords. In part 1, I decided what I wanted the chords to be. In part 2, I did the drums and the bass. In part 3, I did the guitars. In part 4, I did the keyboards and tidied up the songs. And now you are at part 5 of 5, where we have the big reveal. I show Neil the song, or actually he gets to hear it. You can't see a song, but you know what I mean. He gets to hear the song, and then he comments on it, and then I hear his version, which I've never heard. I've only ever heard the vocals, which is what I work for. So you can go back and watch parts 1 to 4 if you haven't already seen them, or if you have seen them and you're here to watch part 5. Enough of me waffling. Here's the reaction. It was very interesting, and it'll be interesting to see what chords you use compared to the chords that I used and stuff like that. But
of course, providing I can remember them, I think I can.
Yeah, but we'll listen to your one as well. You can email that back to me. But yeah, give it. You should have it now. I've emailed it to you.
Hold on. And by the miracles of the 21st century, here I have it. So shall I have a listen?
Yeah, let's do it, and I'll probably hear it through the spill.
Okay, and you're going to monitor my strange expressions.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Look outside. Tell me, is it still just a sea of snow? Even if we could force the door, where would we go? Just you and me. The same stale food, the same four walls. Once they jade, and where there is freedom here that your smile recalls. Just to look for gold, as I hold you in my arms, I know just what I was looking for. Under rocks and stones when it was hiding within your skin and bones. Surprising when I was searching everywhere to find out that it was always lying there. The White Horse Girls sing and dance and laugh. It just caught my eye. I'm more a wolf than I'd like to think. I won't deny. Months have gone, telling stories and shedding lies. Some dream of gold in them there hills. I dream of green beneath the eye that melts.
Bravo.
So there you go.
It's a fascinating process. I think at some point in the 19th century, there was a music magazine that would pose problems to readers, and they would give a melodic line or something like that, and you had to harmonise the progression. And this is like our 21st century
version of that. Yeah,
it is. The hours must have just flown by in the 19th century.
So what do you reckon?
It's amazing, actually. It's really, really interesting. The thing that's most fascinating is the chorus, just simply because it's tricky because it's going all over the place.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much of where it's going to is prescriptive and just sort of says you have to use these chords. So
I couldn't get around the B flat. I couldn't find a way around the B flat, or maybe doing it on a D minor, but that just sounded weird. But I was really insistent not to go from E to G. I wanted to go from E to E minor. And when you heard that E to E minor thing, the look on your face was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
So that was probably my joint most surprising bit. So that surprised me quite a lot, and also the verse. Essentially, it's a more static progression with yours that emphasises the minor. So it's based around C sharp minor, which is really, really nice because the second line then ends up with a much stronger dissonance than in my version.
Right. I kind of do the C sharp minor and then C sharp minor over A, C sharp minor and then to F sharp minor thing. And I don't know whether you did an F sharp. I have no idea what you did.
Well, I guess you'll get to hear at some point. So in terms of how much is happening, there's a lot more in yours. So it's kind of more of a band song, really. Mine was very stripped back. I just played a guitar part and vocal for the verse, and then just a little bit of instrumental addition in the pre-chorus, and then the chorus brings in some drums and stuff. But actually, it's quite fascinating how the chorus really, when you hear it, you'll go, oh, okay. It's pretty similar. Things that I didn't do that you did is like the minor chord 4 at the end of the pre-chorus, I think.
Right.
I think you go to an A minor maybe or something.
Yes, so it goes A major and then A minor before the big E for the chorus, yeah.
Which is, channeling your inner Britpop. So I went kind of probably for the most part harmonically quite Brian Wilson, particularly in the chorus. Okay. I think.
Yeah, I was going sort of Beatles at the end.
Well, especially with the bass. The bass was
very... But when it got to the third time round, I was trying to bring it, and the organ sort of does this, which I think I could bring up a bit, but it walks on the bass to try and give it that Beatlesy and starts going a bit more forth.
You could even use some flute mellotrons or something like that to make it extra Beatlesy. Yeah. But it's brilliant. It's very, very, very convincing, works totally. I just find it fascinating, really, that I guess people tend not to work this way round in the modern age, especially in collaborative ventures. We tend to most people create beats, send that on to someone, and everything is structured from the bottom up. And by the time you get to the melody, everything is pretty much sort of telling you what direction you can go in, much to the irritation of someone like Rick Beato will moan about 4 chords round and round. But I guess the agenda of modern pop is very different from this, which is unashamedly sort of 60s stroke 70s, where things do go on a harmonic journey, and I find that fascinating as well. But at the same time, I'm not immune to the pleasures of the 4 chord progression.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. I just think there were 2 things that influenced this. The first thing was when I've been doing the Space Potato stuff recently, when I'd get certain songs, I would then go and try and do a remix. So I'd stem out my own recording and then treat it as if I had never heard it before, and listening through for little snippets that I can put in and build up loops and make a different version of a song. But because I already know the chords, I follow the chords very strictly, and I you know, so it's more of an arrangement thing than changing the chords. But many years ago, John Paul had a vinyl record. For those that are listening to this, John Paul used to own the studio that I first worked in. He had a vinyl record of some old 60s voice samples that was a BBC record that they gave out with different preamp types and stuff and whatever.
I love those things.
We used to sit and listen to the different preamp types from the 60s. But there was this tune this session vocalist that was singing on different microphones and different preamps, the same set of lyrics. I can't even remember what lyrics it was. But it had this tune, and I remember picking up the guitar and playing, and then later on the record, it had the chords, and they were completely different chords to what I was playing along with it. So it's kind of those two things merging together. I really wanted to do this as an experiment and see, because I think sometimes, again, with the Space Potato stuff, I'm realizing that if you've got a good melody, people don't actually notice a huge amount of the rest of the music, you know, particularly with that, where we've been in some ways deliberately ripping certain things off. And I go, but can't you hear it? Sounds like that. And they go, oh, I didn't even notice that, because all they've heard is the singing and the melody. And I've been focusing on that recently and thinking, well, wouldn't it be interesting to do the other way around? As you were saying, start with listen to something, go, that's a killer melody. I don't care what the chords are. I'll make the chords later.
Well, I don't think milkmen really exist anymore in any major way, although we actually have some milk delivered. But the milkman doesn't go down the road whistling the harmony to a tune. They listen to the top line. The top line is the focus to the average listener's experience of music. And as such, actually getting a killer melody is the important bit, really, isn't it? And the harmonisation of it really could go in any way. I mean, particularly if you take a vertical snapshot of any note, well, that could be harmonised thousands of ways.
Of course.
But, you know, even if we start putting it into a contextual thing and sort of going, okay, well, we want those notes to sort of make sense together, there still will be really many different directions you can go in as you know, you can hear, I suppose, the less information there is, like in the verse, it can go in its own direction more. And then when there's more information provided by the backing vocals, it's saying, no, you got to kind of go here.
I've got to hit that B flat chord. But it was interesting because when I first started it, and you'll see this in the video, when I first started it, I started by playing the verse in E and not having it C sharp minor. I was kind of strumming something in E and kind of picking up what it was about and thinking, oh, I'll do that. But then when it got to that other bit and I got to an A and thought I could go to A minor and then I've got to hit an E here, I thought, well, then should I go to a C sharp minor for the chorus? But then when the B flat got involved, I was thinking, no, that doesn't work. It needs to be the E and the E2. And at that point, it was like, well, I don't want both the verse and the chorus in E. So it kind of forced me to have the verse in C sharp minor. So there were things. It would have been, I mean, it's not a song that I think would have worked if you'd just given me the top line. It needed all the vocals for that to work. But
maybe, who knows? It may have been that you would have then steered it in that direction yourself anyway, with the strange B flat in there. Who knows? But it is definitely a fascinating way to work, I think, and it warrants repetition in the modern age, I think.
So shall I put on, while we're here, let me put on the...
Yes, and I'll watch for your reactions.
Yeah, so it's on YouTube. So if I go to YouTube and I type in the name of the song...
Yeah, Yukon 1898.
1898. Okay.
So the reason, you may wonder, what the hell's that about then? I think pretty much everyone was writing songs about isolation and lockdown last year, and I just thought, oh, I'm not going to indulge myself in that direction. But I thought it's actually quite an interesting idea, people being isolated. So I'd write about a couple being stuck in a snowbound cabin in the Yukon in 1898, you know, being there on the gold rush.
Oh, wow. Cool. Let me have a listen.
Okay.
Look outside.
Wow.
Tell me, is it still just a sea of snow? Even if we could force the door, where would we go? Just you and me. The same stale food, the same four walls, while they jade, and where there is freedom here that your smile recalls. Sweet, sweet and bright and sad. Did we come so far from home just to look for gold? And as I hold you here in my arms, I know just what I was looking for. Under rocks and stones when it was hiding within your skin and bones, surprising when I was searching everywhere to find out that it was always lying there. The White Horse Girls sing and dance and laugh, it just caught my eye. I'm more a wolf than I'd like to think.
I love that line.
I won't deny. Months have gone, telling stories and shedding lies. Some dream of gold, and then their hills. I dream of green beneath the eyes that melts and feeds the mighty river down below. And when we're free from all this snow, I won't go looking high and low. When I know another gold that I've been looking for. Under the rocks and stones when it was hiding within your skin and bones, surprising when I was searching everywhere to find out that it was always lying there. Under the rocks and stones when it was hiding within your skin and bones, surprising when I was searching everywhere to find out that it was always lying there. Under the rocks and stones when it was hiding within your skin and bones, surprising when I was searching everywhere to find out that it was always lying there.
Very interesting.
It's amazing how much of it's really quite similar, isn't it?
There's a lot that's similar, and there's a lot that's I much prefer some of your verses some bits of the verses. There's some chords you hit in the verses that I'm just like, oh, that's beautiful, and that's great, and the way it transitions between the verse to the bridge is really nice on some of that. There's bits I like in what I did as well on there, but then again, I'm attached to that a bit more because I've been listening to it non-stop for however long. But it's actually, funnily enough, you're picking up on what's similar and I'm picking up on what's different. I kind of expected it to be more similar.
Okay.
I thought, well, I'm going to do the first one of these experiments with Neil, and I've, I know your songwriting well, and I know how to play some of your songs, and so I thought to myself, I'm probably going to have something that's within the ballpark, and I'm quite surprised by how different, particularly in the verses, how different some of those chords were. I mean, I think you were going from an E to a D at one point. You were bringing it down to a D, so you were introducing a totally different harmonic texture to the whole thing that I'd not even considered doing in the verse, because I was trying to keep it more sparse, so that, because I thought the other places have got so many interesting chords with that sort of B to B minor thing in the bridge that I did. Again, you didn't do that B to B minor thing. The thing that I was getting through from listening to it was, at first I was thinking, oh, there's some Simon and Garfunkel elements to it. Elements? So yeah, Simon and Garfunkel elephants. Now that would be an interesting merch idea, wouldn't it? No, but there's some Simon and Garfunkel elements to it. But then I started to hear Weezer.
Oh, well, that will be the major chord 3. I think, if you think of a song like Say It Ain't So, which is actually in E stroke C sharp minor anyway, but you've got this G sharp chord, which in their case is both minor and major, but that kind of gives an ambiguity. You can't really tell, are we in E major or C sharp minor? And but I think using that G sharp major, which I don't have the minor element to it either, or as well rather, that kind of lifts it up into that C sharp minor and makes that feel at least momentarily more like home.
And then it also reminded me, some of the harmony and the build up and certain progressions, particularly in the chorus, the way you were doing the chorus, reminded me of Ben Folds 5, which I know a lot of their stuff is heavily, the harmonies and stuff are very influenced by the Beach Boys. And then of course it comes back to your Beach Boys reference. So I'm getting a reference that's actually a reference of a reference, if you see what I mean. But so then I started to think, well, this has got more of that. And then there was an offshoot band called International Orange from Ben Folds 5, which I really, really liked. And they only did an EP, which I think they sold out of their house, just posting it around the world back in about the late 90s, in the days of PayPal and their early website. And I bought it, and I love that EP. And there are elements of that in there, which that was almost like a Weezer thing, because it was a guitar-based band and it had that, but they had all the harmonies that they had in Ben Folds 5. So there were elements of that band that I was hearing in I say your version, the version, not my version. Mine is not. But yeah, no, that was really interesting, and I think that's going to make a really interesting video. It was, I think, it was about 5 hours in total of doing it. Not that I'll edit it down to about 15 minutes. So
fantastic. There were little moments there that I could see were surprising you, and for instance, I think you didn't expect such a high harmonic rate. The changes like that. I think there's one moment where I just touch on a bass note to push it into somewhere else, and I could just see from your reaction that you were looking at it more as blocks of harmony rather than just suddenly change.
Which way round did you have it? I assume you came up with the chords before you came up with the melody then? Remember?
I should remember, because it really wasn't that long ago.
Getting old.
I think it was one of the rare times it was kind of quite simultaneous, actually.
Because, I mean, I do wonder sometimes, I mean, I have chords with quite a few songs, and some songs with quite a few chords in them, and sometimes, you know, I don't. Sometimes I keep it really simple, but I wonder whether, because I was hearing the melody for the first time and then putting chords to it, whether given a bit more time, if I'd put some initial chords down, then lived with it and not just jumped straight into it, if I'd lived overnight with it, come back to it and go, oh, I could have added in some bits there. But I kind of wanted, because it was the first one I'm doing, if this ends up being a series of videos, I just wanted to listen and just, right, you've heard me play it, hear it for the first time, and I'm just going to do it in one go, you know. So I wonder with a little bit more time whether I would have changed things, but I don't know. I like certain things, particularly that D in the verse. That really captured me. I do like the E to E minor thing in the chorus that I put in. When you were moving up, I was going.
I like that. Well, I think the thing that's problematic about that is you were correct in that you can't get around getting to the B flat chord because of the backing vocals. So it definitely goes to a B flat. And if you're going to get from E to B flat, that's clunky no matter what way you do it.
Well, I did it by an A, which kind of, E minor, A to B flat, a little bit of a...
Yeah, but even so, in terms of, if you were thinking E minor A, that suggests the key of D, and then D is quite harmonically distant from B flat. Whereas what I was doing was really just jumping up minor thirds to start with. So E, up to G, up to B flat. So because it's the same relationship each time, it's slightly more comfortable for the ears to handle. And then you can deal with it just as a sequential thing. So basically you're just doing the same thing a bit higher, then a bit higher.
That's what I liked about it not doing, because originally I was kind of strumming it like I was going it's like
which is actually pretty close to
that was there. Kind of what I was originally doing, and I just hated moving up to that G. I just thought that just sounded too corny, and I thought just doing it as the E minor.
I wanted to embrace the corn.
Yeah, I don't know. It gave me that moment to have a sweep on the Supro with the Univibe sound and make it sound like "Breathe" by Pink Floyd for like half a bar or something.
Well, there definitely was some Floyd in there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And actually, I just want to find one little moment that I really, really liked. Not that there were lots of moments that I liked, but let me just see if I can find it. But just save that to my desktop. Here we go. Outside, tell me, is it still just a sea of smoke? It's that da-da against C sharp minor gives such a beautiful dissonance, a very heart-rending bit.
Yes.
But because I've moved on by then, I don't get that option.
Right. I see what you're saying, yeah. No, that's the minor sixth kind of thing. Yeah, no, I think this has been a really thoroughly interesting experiment, and I hope...
Absolutely. Very, very good.
Thanks for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe. And if you have some vocals and you'd like me to do something in a similar vein, please send them to me. And I'll look at them, and if I think I can write a song around it, I might make another video about it. So thanks for watching this series. See you again in another video. Cheers.